What John Hines and the Minnesota Wild just accomplished was monumental.
Faber changes. Kaprizov still lingering with the puck, and Fleury to the bench. How about this move here? Wow! I mean, they need every point banger. Yeah, they do. Zuccarello from the circle. Boldy scores! Oh my! What a move! Oh, by John Hines to pull the goaltender.
I'm sure by now, a vast majority of you have seen this moment circulate around the hockey world, as it's so bizarre that any normal coach wouldn't even think of doing such a thing. But Hines and the Wild were desperate, and when you're desperate enough, history has shown you'll do anything you need to ensure that your team has the best chances to win. This whole scenario was a catch-22 for Hines. On one hand, he's labeled a genius and is praised because he won tonight, but had he lost this game, who knows what the reaction would have been. For all we know, the fans could have been calling for his head on a silver platter. There were tons of questions after this moment, and it left some fans wondering if this has ever occurred in the league before. Well, there have been situations similar to it, like in 1992, when the Penguins, in an effort to preserve their goaltenders for the upcoming playoffs, decided to swap goalies in the middle of a game.
Messier, and Tony Amonte. Turcotte out with them. Amonte trying to center, couldn't do it. He was checked. Shell Samuelson moved the puck ahead, and here's Joe Mullen leading a 3-on-2 Penguin rush. Splits to defense, heads for the goal, passes it off for Stevens, and he couldn't get a shot away. Back comes Messier. The goaltenders have just changed on the fly. Wendell Young is in the net. Centering pass, and he stopped it. That's unbelievable.
But yes, it's happened, and yes, there's been an instance where it actually failed. In fact, the situation was almost identical to Minnesota's. Let's go back to the year 2000. By now, many have discovered and have learned about Rule 84.2, which states, quote, "A team shall be allowed to pull its goalkeeper in favor of an additional skater in the overtime period. However, should that team lose the game during the time in which the goaltender has been removed, it would forfeit the automatic point gained at the end of regulation play." The 2000 season was coming to an end come April 7th, when the Vancouver Canucks would face off against the Edmonton Oilers in a game that Vancouver had to win. They were only a few points out of the final wildcard spot, but had only 2 games left in the regular season. And not only did they have to beat Edmonton, but they also had the hope that San Jose, the team who held that last spot, would lose out. Knowing this, they decided to put their season on the line that night and go all in. Sadly, there's no footage of this game at all. The closest game I could find was one between the two from December the following year. But I did find the box score from that night, and the Canucks would actually enter the third period up 3-1. Edmonton would score 3 straight to take the lead before Andrew Castles would tie it up in the final seconds on the power play, leaving both teams headed into overtime 4-4. This is when history would be made. Mark Crawford would pull Felix Potvin in an attempt to gain the man advantage. He figured, like Hines, that his team would have a better chance to win the game and get closer to playoff contention. But his plan would backfire, as Rem Murray of all people would score an empty net overtime game winner. Edmonton would walk away with 2 points, and Vancouver, despite their efforts, would walk away with nothing. What makes the Canucks situation even worse, however, was because it was so late into the season, that loss would eliminate them from contention. Funny enough, the Wild are also sorta in this same spot, as at the time of recording, they're 6 points behind Vegas for the final wildcard spot. Risks like this take guts, but it also shows a team's commitment and desire to win. For the players, it shows they believe in them and that they trust them to go out there when the season's on the line. The fact that a move like this could even be pulled off is insane to think about, and the way teams are still able to come up with new strategies like this is both fascinating and entertaining to watch. Sadly, as shown, not every risk will end up with a reward, but when and if it does pay off, it can create a moment that'll last a lifetime.
The Predators don't appear to be taking many risks right now.